again, you need the first letter of your first name. So, and then you're going to put it on this little sticky badge and you're going to slap it on you. Don't slap it on each other though, because skinning is not right. If you want to use your last name, that's fine. You like it, everybody? Okay, so look right here. For instance, my birthday is in September, so my first name is Parker. My name starts with an S, so my last name is McGee. So my park ranger name is Parky McGee. Does everybody get one? Oh, raise your hand. Whether you like it or not. Okay, so find your park ranger name. And I actually have some markers if anybody wants to be like or you can do this class. There you go. Okay, so go ahead and write your park ranger name down on you. Orange is my favorite color, so. Okay. Do you think this is something Cub Scouts would have fun at? Yes. They would totally be like, oh, what's my name? And then they'll call each other their names for the rest of time. And they'll call you your park ranger name too. And then their parents will be like, are you here for class? Okay. So you're going to find your birthday month. It's your first name, and then your. Okay, I hope you guys are having better luck getting these stickers off tonight. Okay, so everybody, introduce yourself as a park ranger. I'm Parky McGee. Who we got over here?
I'm Parker Vincent.
Awesome. Oh, did you get your? Okay. Sequoia Winters. There we go. I am Bristlewood Redwood. Okay, Bristlewood. Riverbend Park Face. Let's start right here.
Marquee Parks.
All right.
Rocky S'mores.
Rocky S'mores. That's a toothbreaker. Park Face.
I am Sequoia S'mores.
All right.
River Canoes.
Okay.
River Boulders. Splash S'mores, but I prefer to go by Splash Steamer.
All right.
River Canoes.
River Canoes and.
I'm River Bar.
All right. So now that we all know each other, are you gonna wear your park ranger name for the rest of the day? All right. Yes. All right. So let's go through the handbooks. And we're gonna do this very quickly. These are the new handbooks right here. If you would like to come and look at them afterwards, you're welcome to. So they'll just be right in here. All right, so they each, in the very beginning of the book, have a section. Okay, so I am a bareheaded deer. Sorry, we're using bear.
Still?
Well, technically, unfortunately, my pack folded at the end of August. And then 45 minutes later, I became the committee chair of a new pack. So, I was pathless for 45 minutes. Okay, so if you look at the very beginning of each of these books, they're going to talk about the buddy system. Every single book has this in it. They're going to talk about the Cub Scout 6 Essentials, Wolf to Reload. Once you hit the Arrow Flight book, you're getting into the Scout Basic Essentials. You're adding up those extra ones. Wolf talks about the saw, stay, answer, whistle. And then it moves on to what to do if you get lost, which is stop. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, and then the outdoor code is in all of them, and so are the leave no trace principles for kids. So that is awesome that instead of just kind of slipping them into adventures, they're in the front of the book. So every single one. We know what the outdoor code is and the leave no trace principles for kids. Everybody knows the buddy system, right? Who's your buddy? Find your buddy. Find your buddy. Has to be an actual person, not an imaginary friend. Okay, so for this class, you have a buddy, right? Okay. The Cub Scout 6 Essentials. And I'm going to tell you why that says weather here towards the end, okay? So, believe me when I say they're for Jew weather instead of sun protection. Okay, so yeah, the Scout Basic Essentials for the Arrow of Light group. SAW is stay, answer, whistle. STOP is stay calm, think, observe, plan. So those are basically, if I get lost, what am I going to do? If I'm full, I'm going to blow my whistle sort of thing. Then it kind of goes into further details, right? And then the BSA Safe Checklist, which is supervision, assessment, fitness and skill, and equipment and environment. And that's on page 77 of the AOL. But as you go through the adventures, you will see these terms. So it's a good idea to at least have a basic understanding what they are. So these are the new outdoor ethics required adventures. So this is an elective. This is something they build. Isn't that amazing? It is, and it's so much better too. It's just so cool. So let's go through these. Mountain lion. There's your 6 essentials right there at the top. You're going to take a walk with your 6 essentials. You're going to talk about what SAW means. And then you're going to talk about common animals. Now, do you see outdoor ethics in this? You got respect wildlife right there. You got plan ahead and prepare. And then you can also talk about choose the right path. I mean, you got it all built in right there. Okay, tigers. Once again, 6 essentials. We are drilling this in. They are going to know this. Okay, they're going to learn about the outdoor code. So we're building on that. At every rank, we're going to build a little bit more. They're going to take a walk outside. Now, did you notice they don't say take a hike? They say take a walk. Because some, like new leaders, when you hear the word hike, what do you think? You think it's going to be a bigger deal than maybe it is. You think you got to have shoes, you got to have gear, you got to go somewhere wild, but that's not what this is. This is just get outside. So they have changed the wording to walk because it's less intimidating. A new leader who has, maybe lives downtown Salt Lake. I mean, well, that's not great because they can go anywhere. Okay, maybe downtown Manhattan. Okay, might not be, they can go to Central Park, I guess. But what we're doing is we're not saying you have to go to some place with a trail and a waterfall and a mountain. We're saying go outside, take a walk. Okay, so they're taking a walk for 20 minutes with their essentials. They're going to identify some common animals where they live, and they're going to say which ones are domesticated, which ones are wild. Then they're going to look for a tree and describe why it's helpful. Okay, wolf. Once again, 6 essentials, buddy system. We're going to build on those 6 essentials by saying, what should I be wearing if I go for my 30-minute walk for the wolves? And then they're going to take that walk. They're also going to not only do the outdoor code, which was introduced in the last rank. Now we're going to talk about the leave no trace principles for kids. So we're building on that foundation. And now they're going to look for 4 different animals and tell if they're wild or domesticated. Okay, bears. This is the big one, which I'm super excited about because I love the bear program. This one, you're going through all 7 principles individually. So you're going to prepare for a 1-mile walk. So now we're not talking 23 minutes. We're saying we're going for a mile. We're going to then know before you go. So we're going to plan the walk. We're going to choose the right path. So we're going to figure out, are we walking on a durable surface? We're going to trash our trash. So we're going to make a plan for what we're going to do with our trash and what trash we find. We are going to leave what we find. We can take pictures, we can sketch, it, but we're not gonna take it with us. Okay, we're gonna be careful with fire. Now, are we gonna build fire as a bear? No, we're not gonna build fire as a bear. But we are going to learn about fire safety. So when we came up here, one of the things Kathy told us is our favorite fire danger right now is very hot. So it's good information for these guys to be used to finding out before they go. By the way, I use guys and dude interchangeably. So I'm not just talking about boys or girls, I'm talking about everybody in general. Okay, we are going to then respect wildlife because we're going to look for 6 signs of wildlife around us. We're going to be kind to other visitors by figuring out, were we respectful on our walk? You know, did we bug other people? Did others bug us? And why did it bug us? You know, things like that. Okay, and then we're going to go on our 1 mile walk after we have been prepared for all of those things. So, like I said, I love this one.
I love in the be careful with fire because you make, you know, your own little paper fire. So you have your what are they called, rocks, pretzel rocks, or
Yes.
your big, you know, and down to like little coconut and stuff like that. And it teaches them the fire, you know, how big of a fire rate you can have, where, you know, and we should be talking about, we only go in systems. We don't just go up the rocks in a circle and fire.
So we're learning those concepts before we actually have to put them into practice. Because, is this next right? Actually, I think it's arrow light. Okay, so our weeblos, they get to go for a 2 mile walk. They're going to, of course, have their essentials, and they're going to make sure they're dressed appropriately. They're going to check the weather. So once again, building on these skills. They're going to talk about that BSA safe checklist. Does anybody remember what it was? Supervision, assessment, oh man, fitness and skill, and environment and experience or equipment. Sorry, I can't remember very well either. That's why we have those, right? Okay, then we're going to move into some first aid skills. So we're going to talk about what could happen. We could get a blister, we could sprain an ankle. Most likely we're going to get sunburned, right? We could have dehydration or heat-related illnesses. And we're going to figure out what we need to do to be prepared for those. Then we're going to go on our 2 mile walk. And then, this is a cool part. After we get back, we're going to talk about what went well and what we could do better next time. Hey, arrow of light. These guys get the Scout basic essentials. So they're really going to build on those things because they're going to start getting prepped for overnight stuff, right? With camping with troops and getting ready to go into Scouts BSA. Hey, they're going to figure out what they need, their gear. They're going to, once again, review that same checklist. We're going to figure out where we're going to camp. And we're going to figure out how to get there and where it is on the map. We are going to participate in a camp out. We can do that either one of the other things they changed is AOL, Arrow of Light, is not a den. They are a patrol. So they're getting ready to move into that Scout BSA. So they can either camp as their patrol, or they can camp with a troop. Okay, when they get there, they're going to figure out where we're going to put everything, right? And then they're going to set up the patrol gear before they set up their own gear, or before they run off and do whatever they want, right? We're getting ready for that patrol net. Today, we're going to explain how to keep our food safe and our kitchen area sanitary. And then after that, we come back, we're going to say, did we accomplish our goal? Did we follow leave no trace? Did we follow the outdoor code? What went well? What can we do? Okay, now camping is now an elective adventure, but it's cooler than it used to be. Instead of just a 10-day camp or resident camp, now we're going to go into some fun stuff. Now this is just from Lions through Weeblos because Arrow's Light, if you noticed in that last adventure that we talked about, Outdoor Adventurer, they actually go camping. So their camping adventure is already in that outdoor adventure. Okay. So Lions, we're going to review the buddy system again. We're going to talk about what to bring and make sure we have our essentials, and then we're going to go camping. what the weather's going to be like, and then what we need to take with us. Got our 6 essentials, and then we're going to learn a camping skill. Now this is where age-appropriate activities come into play. Tigers, we're not teaching them how to build a fire. We might teach them how to tie a knot, how to tie, tie our shoes or whatever. Or we might teach them, they might, be able to like flip a pancake. Or, yes, definitely wash their dishes. They should be washing their dishes. So they're going to learn that camping skill. We're going to build on that with both. Once again, buddy system and essentials, and the things we need to take with us. And we're going to learn a new camping skill. So something that is, once again, age appropriate, so we're going to level up. And then we're going to go camping. Now these guys, they can go to a council or district overnight camp, or they can camp with their pack. So, no, anybody below arrow light cannot pack or camp as a den. They can only camp as a pack or go to, in Utah we usually don't have a lot of overnight camps. We usually just have day camps. But I know other places in the country where they have like resident camps. Yes? I think that changed. Okay, we will look that up.
I just got an email this week from, it came through Aaron.
Okay. And it said that they didn't have as an
It talked about what we blows in our place.
All right, so when we all get back to civilization, we're all going to read that blog. So we can get the true details. Okay, now how many nights can you camp as a pack? 2. If you're going to like a district or council camp that's multiple nights, that's a completely separate event. But if you're camping as a pack, you camp 2 nights. All right, there's buddy system essentials, our items we need. These guys, they're going to help set up the tent. And where is a good spot for it? So I actually have, and I forgot to bring the poster board with me. I drew like the forest, we got a mountain up here with some lightning, and we got a stream, and we got a lake with a moose, we've got a bunch of that kind of stuff. And then I have a little laminated tent, and we basically played in the telenome. So I put a mask on them, spin around a couple of times carefully so that they don't fall over, and then have them stick the tent somewhere on that poster, and then we discuss why it might be a good spot. We probably don't want to camp on that ridge line. See that thunder or that lightning bolt? So things like that. That's a fun way to do that. All right, and then we're gonna go camp. Weeblos. With your 10 packer family, plan and participate in camp out. So yes, they can camp as a den. It's straight out of the handbook. Still only 2 nights though. Okay, they're going to figure out where to set a tent, and they're going to try to do it without an adult. So that could be interesting. If you've done your work as a bear leader, hopefully your weeblos, they go right out there and they do it. Okay, they're going to they're going to talk about weather hazards and what to do about that. They're going to learn how to tie a boat. Then they're going to talk about fire, and they're going to figure out a good spot for it. Then, guess what? They're going to build it, and they're going to light it. Once again, you need to know those fire restrictions before you try to do this one. Okay, this is cool. Albert Code and Leave No Trace Principles for Kids from Memory. So, if we've been working on all those other adventures, by the time they get to weeblos, they're going to know it, right? They're going to have it memorized. Okay, and then they're going to talk about how they follow those things when they do that. Okay, fishing adventures, we're just going to whip through these ones. Fishing is an outdoor experience. There's not too many places you can fish indoors. I'm sure there's some out there somewhere, but 99% of the time we're going outside. So does outdoor ethics apply? Absolutely. We got to have outdoor ethics. So I'm just going to whip through these so we have time to do our activities. But they're every single rank, and this is one of we can take pictures after if you like. Okay. Every single rank has a fishing adventure now, which is so cool because before, as fair den leader, I was the only one with a fishing adventure. But we would take our whole pack because who doesn't want to go fishing? They just didn't really earn anything, but they still got the fun experience. So I'm excited that now everybody gets to go fishing because then everybody will have fun and have actual things that they learn and then adult. Okay, World Conservation Award, otherwise known as the Panda Match. I hope you have one because it's cool. And then the Outdoor Activity Board, that cool pocket. Okay, they have been condensed into the Champions of Nature Elective Adventures, and everybody has one. So they're going to talk about resources, and then right there at the bottom, did you notice that? Participate in a conservation project. And we're going to move into chapters where we're going to talk about renewable natural and non-renewable natural. Before we were just talking about this is natural, this is man-made. Now, what is natural and what can be renewed? Okay, and then they're going to talk about reduce, reuse, recycle, and where the garbage in their community goes. So here's a great trash your trash, principle 3, right here. And then once again, conservation project. Wolves are also going to talk about natural resources and recycling, and then they're going to figure out what happens to those recyclables. So not just what happens to our trash, but where do the recyclables in our community go? And then they're going to participate in a conservation project. The bears, they're going to discover natural resources. Then they're going to talk about wastewater in our community. They're going to talk about soil and air pollution, and then they're going to do a conservation project. Hey, these guys are basically going into threatened and endangered and ecosystems and how this all works together. Or actually, sorry, the next one is ecosystem. So then, once again, conservation project. Oh, no, these guys are talking about too. So this one, you can talk about how if I don't trash my trash, or if I'm not careful with my food, what's going to happen to these things? So this one, could be a little more tricky, but you can still turn this into outdoor ethics. And then once again, first project. Okay, there are some other adventures. Tigers get to do Sky's the Limit, which is astronomy. One of the things they have to do is identify things in the night sky. So wouldn't that be a great opportunity to talk about light pollution, about being kind to other visitors? Hey, Weeblos get to do math on the trail. They get to figure out, and then the next one, math on the trail is figuring out how many paces does it take you to walk that 2-mile hike you went on. And then tech on the trail, which is all about like GPS, using apps to enhance our outdoor experience. Arrow of Light go into that in even more detail. And also they do wildlife as part of Into the Wild, and trees as Into the Woods. Okay, now we're going to get to the fun part. We've gone through all the background stuff. Now we're going to do some fun stuff. Okay. So one of the best ways to teach Cub Scouts is to get them moving, right? I mean, don't you guys want to be moving right now? These guys sat through school for several hours before they get to you usually. They do not want to sit for another hour, and they want to really get active and involved with whatever they're learning. So, the outdoor code. Who knows some actions we can use for the outdoor code? Okay, Walla? Okay. Does everybody know this action? What? All right, does anybody not know the actions? Okay, let's stand up and do these actions together.
Stand up.
Yes, we love to stand what are we gonna do? I will do my best. Straight elbow, 2 ears, reach for the sky. Okay, to be clean in my outdoor manner.
I put it in there and I couldn't get it to turn back up.
Consider it in the outdoors and conservation minded. I'll get a book.
I had it filmed in the cup and then I was ready to go. I said, go back and
Conservation minded. Okay. Now, do you think your Cub Scouts are going to learn the
I would.
outdoor code if you're doing that with us?
Try to be like the
Oh,
boss.
great. And you know what's funny? Oh, please sit down. Round table. My round table, you know, do the pledge, or the scout law, the scout oath and everything. And then, things are different. No. As your district outdoor ethics advisor, we are going to do the outdoor code at every round table. So I teach them the actions. So I go to round table last night. We've been doing this for 2 years, right? I'm thinking, you guys have to know those actions. I know. I should be able to just say the outdoor code. So I stand up there, you know, I'm doing this, and I'm saying the outdoor code. Every leader in the audience is. They're all doing the action. So, it's it. Okay, so next we have the leave no trace principles for kids. And there's a million ways to do these actions, but we're going to do a few. And then if you have a different action, tell me, okay? So, the first thing I say is, we got to stand up. You know, this is an active environment. We're going to stand up. Okay, and we don't just, it's not just movement. We go, number 1, because we are going to be enthusiastic, right? I say no before you go. Okay, does anybody else have another action for this one? I've seen people like, write the list or whatever. Yeah, so we're doing lead on trace principles for kids. So we're doing that little bit less big words version. Okay, number 2. And I like to lift my fingers upside down and say, choose the right path. But now we also go camping, so we're getting to our 10 side, right? All right, number 3. See, I do it like this because for me, I say, see Toy Story? You know the claw? The rest of the aliens? We're going to use our claw to trash your trash. Does anybody else have a different action for this one? Very good. I like that. Put it in a trash can. Then we know where it went, right? Okay, number 4. For this one, I do, this is us on the trail. This is something cool. And then I do say, what's one cool thing you've seen out in nature? You know, then we get like rocks and arrowheads and all that stuff. We're going to bend over where I would say, believe what you find. Okay? But another way to do it, so make nails, put them together like that. We're going to take a picture. Okay, does anybody else have an action for this one? Because that's the cool thing is as you meet people from the country, you learn all these different ways of doing it. Okay, so now we're going to move on to number 2. Okay, so remember in the outdoor code we made our little plane? We're going to do the same thing. So this is be careful with fire. Okay, number 6, the way that I do it, because I like to see. So, and we're going to talk about the other one. So we're going to make number 6. And then we're going to switch to the 3rd part because this is respect wildlife. Is this respecting wildlife? No, this is respecting wildlife. And then I tell everybody, bring your thumb out in front of you and take that 5, cover your eye. Okay, if you can cover the wildlife up with your thumb, then you are probably far enough. Okay, no guarantee. Yes, and that's another way to do it. Yep, and I've also seen it done like this, like so respect wildlife. But I really like that rule of thumb because then that gives the kids. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's true. So I can cover up the squirrel, but is that going to cover up the buffalo? Probably not. Yeah, I mean that buffalo really far away to cover that up, right? number 7. For this one, I like to say, hey, how you doing? It's like, peace, dude. Because we're going to be kind to other visitors, right? Does anybody have another one for that one? Shake hands. Awesome. All right, so do you think your Cub Scouts are going to remember those a little easier? Absolutely. Do you think your leaders are going to remember that a little easier? Absolutely. Once again, I've stood up in front, we've done the actions, and all the leaders out there are doing all the actions too. The best part is when the parents do the actions, because then the parents go home and they practice Leave No Trace. So if you're doing the outdoor code and the Leave No Trace principles at your PAC meeting, then it's going to start to stick. Okay, you can go ahead and sit. Saying hello and then like peace, dude. You know, because that was a big dude piece. Okay, now the other one is the Cub Scout 6 Essentials. Oh, do you know what? Really quick, we're going to go back to the outdoor code. Because if you look at the outdoor code, there's 4 words that start with the letter C. So that's a good way to get them to think about it too. Ooh, what are those 4 words? Clean, careful, considerate, and conservation-minded. So that's another way, especially to get the older scouts really thinking about what those points are and what they might mean. Okay, and for the 6 essentials, we're going to do something really similar. So we have 3 words that start with F, and we have 3 words that start with W. One of those W's is kind of a trick. Okay, so what are the 3 essentials that start with the letter F? Fire. Not for Cub Scouts. They all say fire. Hey, food. Now, are we talking like a number 10 can of beans? No, we're talking trouble. So, food. What's another F word?
Flashlight.
Flashlight. And there's one more, just in case we get hurt on the trail, we need first aid. So there's your 3 essentials to start with F. What are our 3 essentials? Remember, one of them's a trick that starts with W. Water, a whistle, and then in the book it says sun protection. Well, I live in a state where a bunch of the time it's snowing. Most afternoons I'm getting rained on, you know? So weather is what I've changed that to, because you need to be prepared for the weather, not just for the sun. Okay, so we have food, flashlight, and first aid, water, and weather, and whistle. Do you think that will help your Cub Scouts remember it a little easier? Exactly, because all they have to do is remember 3 F words and 3 W words. So that makes it a little easier. Okay, does anybody know what time it is? How we're doing on time? Okay, so here's some methods that we're going to use to teach these things. First, repetition and memorization. They're doing that all day, every day in school, right? But if we are doing our outdoor code, our Leave No Trace principles, and did you notice all those adventures? Buddy system, 6 essentials. Every single adventure had those. So if we are repeating that at every den meeting, at every PAC meeting for sure, we definitely need the outdoor code as part of our opening, right? Pretty soon it's going to stick, whether they like it or not. Okay, next thing we can do is we can play fun games. This is where I need my clipboard, because I have notes. Because I got stuff to show you and we got stuff to do. All right. Okay, we're not going to play a game this time. We were going to, but we're going to cross. Okay, so next, paper activities. This is a good way for them to interact with it. We can do word searches for the older kids. You know, we're probably not going to do the lion, right? We can do crossword puzzles. We can do mazes. You know, get this animal to its resource. And then we can do puzzles. This is the outdoor code right here. So if we have time after, we'll put this together. But puzzles are a great way for Cub Scouts to interact, because they have to actually pay attention to what the words are on it, right? And then there's little pictures in there. You can be really fancy. Kathy could probably make you one in Canva. I'm just going to write it on a poster board. Because technology and I are not friends. Okay, so we've got We can use the edge method with Cub Scouts. We can explain it to them. We can demonstrate it to them. We can guide them to do it. And then they can teach each other. Right? Hey, how about a song? A song. A song. We're gonna sing a song. Hey! Excellent. Because guess what? I have a song. So pass those around. Pass those around. And we're, you know what? I need one copy though, because I don't remember my song. Yay! Who knows the K-song song? Overkill, overkill. Okay? Yes, that's what we're going to sing. This is a song that contains the 7 principles of leave no strays in the song. Now, it's not a great song, because I wrote it. But you are welcome to use the song. And then in the bottom you'll notice it says numbers represent the principle. So we're not going to sing the number, just so you know. That's just there for information purposes. Okay, are you ready? Overkill, overdale, as we hit the dusty trail, we will plan ahead and prepare. We will pick up our trash, leave our fire, not my gas, as the Cub Scouts go hiking along. And instead to trails, leave the flowers, trees, and snails, be kind to animals and friends. So we'll keep it clean, every forest, field, and stream, as the Cub Scouts go hiking along. Are they going to remember it? You sing it often enough, it's all okay. I am still so we're going to pass one of those. And then you also need one of these. Okay, so you're going to pass this around. This, who knows what a cootie catcher is? Otherwise known as a fortune teller. We call them cootie catchers. Have you ever made one of these? Kids love interaction. They're way fun. Now, this is an item that I request that you do not photocopy this item because it is an item that has to be purchased. It is $1 on teachers pay to teachers. So it is very affordable, and you, for your unit, can reproduce it as many times as you want. She just asks, you know, that you don't like pass it out to everybody in your district. Teachers pay teachers. And it is $1. And that, I forgot to put in my resources tab, but it is a fantastic resource. There's so much cool stuff in there. I found it on Pinterest actually, and then I went to the link, and I'm like, $1, I could do this. And I'd use my little printer because mine's black and white. All right, so do you know how to fold a cookie catcher? Okay, so maybe you can use the edge method to teach each other, if you don't know how to fold a cookie catcher, find somebody who does. Okay, so who does know how to fold a cookie catcher? Okay, Amber, I'm going to have you come up. Oh, and Bo knows as well. Oh, actually, River McParkface is going to teach us how to fold a cookie catcher. All right, flip it over and fold all the pretty corners into the center. And there's lines right there to tell you where to follow the lines, fold all the pretty corners into the center. I know, this will take a while. It's all good. I don't usually have like this pretty outline. I just like make my own and then draw on it right in the center. Yes, that's how it works. Pictures, color, just a treat. Keep you awake. Bribery is a great source of getting Cub Scouts to pay attention to you. Okay, does anybody need a demonstration on how to fold those pretty corners into the center? It looks like you're done. It looks like, oh, okay. Next step, no, you're fine. Next step is flip it over again and fold all the number pieces into the center. See how there's numbers? Fold all those into the center. Once you're finished with the first 4 edges, first 4 corners, flip it over, fold those 4 corners in.
should have 1, 2, 3, 4 on one side, and then 1 through 8 on the other side. Right. So just flip it over and fold it. Flip it over. What you want is colors on one side and colors on the other side. Does that help?
Colors on this side, colors on this side. Does it?
Cool.
Excellent. So all you gotta do is Google it.
Last step. Fold it into a rectangle. Then, doesn't matter.
Because
Unfold
you're gonna fold it.
and fold the other way into a rectangle. Unfold. Fold halfway into a big triangle.
Basically, you're folding on every single
You're
line.
just getting the crease lines. Unfold that, turn it the other way, and fold down on the opposite triangle. So now you have all these folds in the funky line, right? Fold numbers 1 through 8 into the center, like just kind of make a tent, like this. Because numbers 1 through 4 on the other side, you stick your fingers under it.
This is kind of the tricky part because you gotta kind of pop
This is
those
the
out
tricky part.
so that your fingers can go in. Once you get them out there the first time, okay. Needs milk?
So when it sits upside down, it doesn't look like a tent anymore, it looks like it's unbelievable. But it's pretty one. It looks like a little bit like this. You stick your fingers in it, and it kind of stands up on 4 legs. Does that work? If you need help with your hand in the air, I will come to you. Rock out, you get it. There you go. Did you get the triangle fold?
Not know what you're doing.
Triangle like that, just want to pull that in. So you got every step, this is the last one to start. You're going to want to stand up and go like this. Make sense? You good here? Looks good.
Yes.
If you now go to search for enter
Once you get them popped out later, they're good to stay. Excellent. And you guys can play with these after.
And finally, it will look like this. And you go,
Okay, so Kathy, come show us the edge method of how to play this game.
I am not.
Oh, sorry. What's your name?
I don't have one. Someone else did. I am.
Oh, that's right.
Bristlecone Redwood.
Okay, first
Bristlecone Redwood.
Redwood shows how to play.
Okay.
Right here
So,
with Sequoia with
Sequoia. Pick a number.
2.
2. 1, 2.
Yeah.
And then pick a picture. Pick a picture. Water bottle. That's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pick a number.
No, you don't do it.
I don't do it.
So then you're going to unfold the flap, and it has questions.
Has leave no trace principle. Number 6. Respect wildlife. How should you safely observe wildlife?
See, and then she gets to answer the question. So this is a way to play a game interacting with these principles. after we're done with our class, you guys can like go around to everybody else and say, play a game with me. Yep. So the first one they're gonna do, they're gonna pick that number and you're gonna count that number. Yeah. And then they pick an inside number and then you count that and then they're gonna pick that inside number.
So each number.
It can go either way. Because, you know, if you have lions, they may or may not be real comfortable telling numbers. All right, so another one we can do. I would like to get on so we don't skip stuff again. Okay, jokes. We got some jokes. Who wants to tell one? We're going to do two people. Who wants to tell a joke? Excellent. Thank you, river boulders and juniper canoes. Okay, these guys are going to tell us a joke. Okay, river boulders, tell us your joke.
What do you call a group of grizzlies telling jokes? A barrel of laughs.
All right, and our next one.
What did the beaver say to the tree?
What did
It's
you
been
say?
nice knowing you.
Okay, so this is a great way to break up your activities, but still have an outdoor theme, right? Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do, stories. Okay, this is a game I just played with my 4-year-old granddaughter, and I went home and ordered it because it's actually a really fun game. It's called Campfire Stories. It was $9 on Amazon. Okay, so we won't play this one. Basically, there's little cards. Everybody gets 4 cards, and you tell a story based on the pictures on those 4 cards. Could you make that an outdoor ethics story? Absolutely. I told a cool story about a raccoon that was investigating the theft of trash. I mean, if you had like 10 Bear Scouts, maybe not, or you could just take turns, draw 4 cards, and then put them back in and shuffle them. Next kid draws 4 cards, so that it's, you know. But I mean, we played it with 4 people, we had a ton of cards. But a 4-year-old telling stories based on these pictures is hilarious. Okay, Cub Master Minutes. Is that a great time to kind of reinforce what you talked about, what you learned? Okay, reflections. So if you had an activity and then you reflect, how did we follow the principles of lead no trace while we were out on this activity? What could we need to change? Okay, lead no trace dinner. We have outdoor ethics guides, right? If you wanted to, you could assign one of your Cub Scouts. You want to be our lead no trace dinner? You want to make sure that we're following the 7 principles of lead no trace? That sounds like a fun job. And let me tell you, those kids are on top of it. She picked up a feather. I mean, they weren't careful with fire. No, I would do it anyway. Yeah, kids love to be in charge of things. They love to have that little sense of responsibility. So you would just, and because this is not an actual position, you would just say, so you're in charge of making sure that when you go on this hike, don't drop any trash. That's your job as our Leave No Trace dinner. So would the Cub Scouts enjoy that? Would it reinforce those things we're teaching? Okay, dead or pack mascot. This is Baloo the bear. He went to every Baloo training we did. He was part of my camp program. Having a mascot is a fun way to get kids to remember those principles. Because you say, hey, Baloo is so sad. We've got trash on the ground, guys. What would Baloo like us to do about it? Leave No Trace dinner? What does Baloo need to do? Say we need to do. You know, so having a mascot. Okay, and then there's no official award for outdoor ethics for Cub Scouts. The outdoor ethics awareness, the outdoor ethics action, those were removed from the Cub Scouting program in 2015 when they put that in the program. But can you make your own award? Get a little ribbon. You were the trash master on this hike. Here's your ribbon, you know? Okay. We can model the behavior. As leaders, those kids are watching every single thing we do. Every outdoor activity I do with my Cub Scouts, we have the adventure adventure bag. Those 6 essentials are always in there, everywhere we go. In addition, I have other things just to make sure nobody dies. Including me. Hey, teachable moments. So if you see somebody doing something, you can talk about it. What did Bob do that was really cool on our hike today? You know, or look at this cool thing we found. Wow, let's all look at it. Maybe we can take a picture of it and show our parents when we get home. So looking for those moments where you can just throw a Leave No Trace principle in there. Okay, getting outside and practicing. Our Cub Scouts were not meant to be in a building. They were meant to be out doing things. Now, obviously, in January, we're probably going to be in a building. But we can still get out a lot of times to do stuff. They all have hiking and camping adventures. It's a great time for them to do it. Camp Oh No. How many of you saw Brenda's Camp Oh No that's in the foyer? Please go look at it. I brought my Camp Oh No, but hers is way cooler. So go look at it, take pictures of it. It is really fun. It's just right there next to the stairs.
And what's the premise of it?
So a Camp Oh No is all the things you shouldn't do. But you're not telling the youth you shouldn't do them. You're like, oh wow, look at this campsite. Does anybody see anything we can maybe do better? And the kids are like, there's poo on the ground, the dog is pooing, that bear is in the cooler. So go look at her thing, it's lots of fun. And one of the other things you can do, these are little garden stakes you can get from Dollar Tree in the spring. You can't get them right now, they only sell those. And you can have them, if you're camping as a guide, if they see something that maybe is a Leave No Trace principle, like if it was trash or trash, they could put number 3 on there, and they can stick it in there. And then by the end of camp, hopefully you don't have a million little signs all over your camp, saying all the things that maybe you could do a little better. We never want to tell the kids what they're doing things wrong, right? You know, we want to encourage them by saying, hey, I think we could maybe do this a little better.
So all the kids have access to the stakes,
Yep.
and if they see something, they write what they think, and they just, you know, say something.
Exactly. And then we're going to have a reflection. Say, ooh, look at all these stakes. What did we need to do that we could do better? Pick up the stakes and talk about it. Yay. Bigfoot Challenge is basically an obstacle course relay type thing where you do an activity for each of the principals. Service projects, they obviously all have service projects, and then acts. Okay. We're going to take one of these. On one side is those actions and the 6 essentials information. And then on the other side is a bunch of nature apps. Are we all comfortable in the outdoors? Do we all know what that tree is? What that bird sound we heard was? How to find the Big Dipper? Not everybody does. And so an app is a great resource for you to be able to get that information easily. Okay, and then the final slide is the resources. So we've got youth handbooks, the leaders book, you're welcome. The leaders book are online, right? Scouting.org has some cool activities in it as well. Guide to Safe Scouting is one of the biggest things we really need to be aware of. So as we're doing these outdoor ethics activities, we've got to make sure we're following the Guide to Safe Scouting. LNT or LeaveNoTrace.org. They have so much good stuff. You can get that. By these are the Leave No Trace principles for kids. Go ahead and grab one of those. Take it with you. And these are super cheap. They're like 25 cents. You get it. These are from Tread Lightly. I stole from that table back there. Tread Lightly for kids. Go ahead and take some of those. And then just going online or going to the Forest Service.